Good morning, everyone. The events that took place in Catalonia from 2010 to the present day constitute a highly interesting and worthy case of study for any political science department. This is the case of a nation with 1,000 years of history that has survived multiple attempts at genocide and linguistic and cultural assimilation. This struggle has continued to the present day, where Catalonia has become a modern, peaceful nation that upholds all the values of Western civilization and has led a peaceful and civilized attempt at independence within a supposedly democratic and advanced European state, Spain. It is entirely understandable that Professor María José Hierro has taken the opportunity to invite one of the main protagonists of the process for independence, to share his impressions and his own view of the facts, given his unique position within the highest ranks of Catalonia's pro-independence administration during these years. All of this is well and good. Chosen topic for the conversation with President Pere Aragonès suggests that attendees will be presented with serious and convincing ideas that may later be studied, even considered to be applied in other international scenarios of conflict involving nationalist or separatist dynamics. The problem, however, is that Mr. Aragonès cannot, by any means, be presented as an expert, nor even as someone who has led a serious negotiation to de-escalate a secessionist conflict or restore stability. President Pere Aragonès was the leader of one of the parties in the conflict, and on the very first day of his presidency, he declared before the Catalan parliament that he had come to culminate independence. He, his party, and the party of former President Puigdemont had passed transitional laws by an absolute majority, laws which required the then President Puigdemont to declare Catalonia's independence in the event that the October 1st, 2017 referendum resulted in a yes vote for secession. This democratic parliamentary act was carried out just 1 month before the referendum. On that day, the images of 6,000 armed, fully equipped, and trained Spanish riot police officers attacking polling stations filled with innocent, peaceful, and unarmed civilians spread across the world. Spain's strategy of terrorizing the Catalan population simply failed, and by the evening, a greater percentage of Catalonia's population had voted than the percentage of Britons who voted in the Brexit referendum, just to draw a sufficiently distant but comparable reference. That night, the people of Catalonia had earned the right to independence twice over. One, through the 90% yes vote, and two, through their stoic and peaceful resistance throughout the voting day. The Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King would be proud. Almost all politicians who had promised to obey the democratic mandate of the Catalan people betrayed this promise that very night, and have continued to do so to this day. Yes, it is true that Spanish repression, particularly through police and judicial means, that's lawfare, has also affected them. But this was something they should have anticipated from day one, from as far back as 2010, when it became clear that there was enough popular will to initiate a process of democratic secession. A minimally competent group of politicians should have foreseen the possibility of imprisonment, the suspension of Catalonia's self-government, and a campaign of repression by the oppressive state. They should have had mechanisms in place to handle and overcome such situations. Instead, the political actions of the three so-called pro-independence parties have become a gradual dynamic of submission. Yes, this includes a de-escalation of the conflict and a return to stability, indeed. But not because they engaged in a serious negotiations, nor because they secured a better arrangement for the Catalan people within Spain. The reason for their behavior is much simpler. They pondered the two options before them. On one side, the fear of personal reprisal and ruin. On the other hand, the opportunity to remain in power as Spain's representatives in Catalonia in exchange for capitulation and obedience. There's no need to spell out which option they chose. They have now become the colonial administrators of a Catalonia that is under the threat of a new linguistic and cultural genocide, one conducted by this very same managerial class of politicians. It is particularly painful to see that despite their ineffectiveness and sheer incompetence, they dare to attend events at prestigious universities such as Yale to discuss their supposed expertise in solving conflicts, while hiding the fact that they have been nothing more than Spain's best agents in dismantling and destroying all Catalonia's aspirations to exist as a people. They are indeed the best guarantee that Spain will continue to extract wealth and distribute it as it pleases, while fostering a Spanish Donbass within Catalonia, artificially creating a conflict that has never truly existed between native Catalans and the sons and daughters of Spanish immigrants who arrived during Franco's dictatorship. Now, President Pere Aragonès knows perfectly well that history books will not be kind to him, because he has been responsible for the degradation of Catalonia and its return to the colonial-like situation that existed before the independence process he had promised to complete. Catalonia has staged the largest demonstrations in world history by percentage of population. No other country has brought over 1 million people to the streets for 7 consecutive years in such a firm, peaceful, and democratic expression of will. Our process was meant to be, and still can be, an example for the entire world, showing that the very first right enshrined in the International Bill of Human Rights can be exercised peacefully through democracy and in adherence to the highest values that guide mankind. Presidents Carles Puigdemont, Quim Torra, and Pere Aragonès were entrusted with this popular and democratic will, yet all three of them renounced it and surrendered the people of Catalonia, the entire country, to the very same state from which we sought to separate, betraying the democratic mandate expressed through the ballot box in 4 elections, 1 popular consult, and 1 referendum. Thank you very much for your attention.